Good afternoon, Whisperers, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonia LeRae, certified lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, and motivational speaker. I am so excited to have you in this room today. I'm always excited when we get to come into our safe zone and to have these types of discussions. It is dynamic, and I surely hope that you all are ready and that you have your notebooks handy because I am going to be pouring so much information into you and giving you such dynamic information here. And don't forget to please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel and share it with others. I mean, that's what we should be doing, is sharing with each other. And hey, if you'd like to get social with me, come on over to Instagram and join me at www.instagram.com/whispers-in-a-bottle_podcast. So, if you're listening in the studio, I want you to join the conversation. Make sure that you call in at 516-595-8091. Once again, that's 596-595-8091. And Blog Talk Radio has done something amazing for us. They have put a live chat box into each episode. And if you're here listening and watching me right here on YouTube, you can drop your comments in and I will get them. And your girl loves to monitor a great chat box. And hold on a second, guys. If you're not getting our cocktail or our mocktail of the episode, I hate to tell you this, but you are missing out. And you have to join our newsletter to receive the cocktail mocktail of the episode. We have a fabulous mixologist that gave us this cocktail for this episode. It was called the Raymond Mancy. And Desiree, she knocked this out the box. I have to tell you guys, I enjoyed it. I had a great time having it and sipping on it. And don't worry, we'll get another one going for next week because that is our thing, our cocktail and our mocktail. Don't forget, I want you to join in on this conversation. It's at 516-595-8091 to call in and tap in. I tell you. So, Whisperers, are you ready to walk in your greatness? Oh my goodness. Just the title itself is just exciting. It is truly exciting. And I like to start each of our episodes off with a clear meaning. So this is no different. So I'm going to give you the definition of greatness. And I got tons of notes for you guys too. So, greatness, the quality of being distinguished or excellence that sets someone or something apart from others. So, did you get the meaning of greatness? Let me repeat it for you. The quality of being distinguished or excellence that sets someone or something apart from others. Whisperers, I have to tell you, I developed this discussion a couple of years back, and I had the great privilege of crossing this country, giving this discussion to some great groups, which, by the way, I'm going to shout out our Zoom group that is joining us today, the Women of Distinction. I'm so glad that you're hosting. And if you want Whispers in a Bottle to be in your group, if you have a Zoom group, like let's say you guys do a lunch and learn or you have a book club, please feel free to email us at info@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. So you can I can be hosted in your group and you can have your comments, your questions going. I'd appreciate it so much. So what I was saying was, I found that when I started to give this discussion, so many would come up to me afterward and they were so touched by it, because just to hear and to know how we are to be walking in our greatness and how we're supposed to be demonstrating and showing up for ourselves is something that is by far amazing. And to hear how it resonated with them was so touching for me. because as a motivational speaker, you want to make sure that you are tapping in to your audience and that it resonates with them in such a dynamic way. So today I want to impart some of that energy to you all and help you to either continue to walk in your greatness or help you to identify how you can walk in that greatness. So, this being stated, studies have shown that the desire to avoid pain is stronger than the desire to move toward pleasure. Isn't that something? The desire for us to avoid pain is stronger than what it is for us to move towards pleasure. I mean, like I was totally blown away by that. And this is why it's often the case that we find ourselves entangled in, um, or instead of focusing or on fulfilling our lives with the things that make us feel purely nourished, alive, and happy, we're avoiding it and we're putting things in there that throw us off balance. Do you hear me? It really throws us off balance. And do you all know that that means, whispers, that this means that your natural instinct, excuse me, let me take that back. So that means that our natural instinct is not to surrender to your own greatness, but to avoid falling prey to pain. And it takes conscious effort to surrender to your own greatness. And you have to, wake up every single day and simply tell yourself. And if you're not telling yourself this, I want you to write this down in your notebook today. This is something that you should definitely be telling yourself on a regular basis because it's so important. You need to tell yourself today, I'm surrendering to my own greatness. So, once again, today, I am rendering to my own greatness. And when you do this, you tell yourself, your mind, and your heart, you are open to seeing your potential of being great. And seeing your potential is not being in a competition with anyone but yourself. And I think that's the problem. Many times, as individuals, we have a tendency to start competing with others and thinking that we should be in a sector or where they are, where we're supposed to be, looking at ourselves, challenging ourselves to move beyond the things that are keeping us held prisoner, and not being so quick to be seeing your way to celebrate everyone else, but you don't celebrate yourself. And I teach you all every week, and I come in every so often and I reiterate the importance of celebrating oneself and how that should look. Even if it's a small accomplishment, you should be celebrating yourself. So I want to say something right here before we go any further. And I do this even in my live discussions. I want to say this before we go anywhere. So pay attention. And if you're looking for someone to direct you and to show you your greatness, you will never find it. Did you hear what I just said to you? If you're looking for someone to direct you or to show you your greatness, you will never find it, nor will you ever walk in it. I know that right now, like your mind is just blown that I just said that to you. What is required is for you to be able to see the qualities that will help you to motivate yourself. And if you cannot see your qualities, then you need to be able to declutter your mind. And decluttering your mind is something powerful. I teach this. I do this with my clients. Unfortunately, my client wasn't able to call in right now, but we're going to have this discussion at 3 p.m. And if you tune in at 3 p.m. live for Blog Talk Radio, you'll get to hear my discussion with her. And it is dynamic. And what I'm teaching in that class and what it does for you When you declutter your mind, it opens you up to new possibilities. It opens your mind up to see past things that are holding you captive, because our minds are bombarded with tons of stuff day in and day out. We got the to-do list, we got the possible to-do list, we have running our business, our families, our this, our that. But at times when you have that moment to declutter your mind, it puts the priority in front of the mind. And so, which in turn helps you to focus the energy that you need, not what you want, but what you need to be able to make a clear pivot. And by doing that pivot, it helps you to tap in to yourself deeper, which causes you to come forward and to be able to identify what the greatness is within yourself. I'm speaking of real things that you're tapping in. And I teach my clients that they are diamonds. And I'm not speaking of cubic zirconium either. I mean real diamonds that have great value. And once you realize that, and you can say to yourself that I am a diamond, you will see that certain things that were holding you back are now no longer doing that. They are no longer keeping you captive. They are no longer holding you prisoner, and your mind's limitations are now starting to shift you into a different mindset. So, as a counselor, educator, and motivational speaker, I always want to make sure that you whisperers are doing your best. And by doing your best, you need to know how to achieve your best so you can walk in your greatness. And sometimes when you know better, you can do better. You've probably heard that saying before. If you know better, you can definitely do better. So, have you ever wondered what separates successful people or successful individuals that walk in their greatness from the average person? Have you ever wondered about that? Well, it's a drive and a mindset that separates them. You know, individuals that are successful aren't afraid to fail. And I have to tell you, I have failed at a many of things. I have failed at some things that have been that I thought was going to be wonderful. It was going to be great. I was going to just achieve this. But lo and behold, I didn't. But guess what? It didn't stop me. It made me pivot. It made me rethink what my focus needed to be so I can achieve what I wanted. A prime example I'm going to tell you about our show here, Whispers in a Bottle. Matter of fact, Whispers in a Bottle started off on IG, as many of you know, because many of you have been with me since we started Whispers in a Bottle on Instagram. And it was just basically our motivational Monday. I would tap in every Monday and I would do a live segment on IG Live. And so many people would keep saying to me that I should go and I should really be a part of, doing a podcast. And I was so like taken by it that I was like, I don't know if this is really what I can do or what I need to do or anything like that. I wasn't really sure about it. And so I paused for a minute. But then as I started to think about what I'm doing and the message of what Whispers in a Bottle is, see, the name Whispers in a Bottle means, and it's from an old folklore, Irish folklore, that it means that these men that went out to sea, they would write their message on a piece of paper and they would put it in a bottle and they throw it out into the ocean to carry their message far and wide of love and hope and wishing them a safe return. And so, in turn, Whispers in a Bottle is the same thing. It's of a message of hope, and it's a message of giving inspiration. And it's carrying my message far and wide through the airwaves, even right here on YouTube and right here in Blog Talk Radio. It is something that is dynamically that I want to send out to my listeners and the followers in our tribe. And you whisperers know how much I think of you all. And I like to also use the example of Tyler Perry. Now, this is the thing. Tyler Perry, when he was growing up, he did not have someone pouring value into him, stating to him that he had greatness in him, that he was going to be successful, that he was going to pivot and change the dynamics of what he touched and what he brought into the industry. He had none of that. He had a very hard upbringing, but something deep within him knew that he had greatness. And even though he was sleeping in his car and he was trying to make sure people would hear his message, he wanted people to know what he was about. He started his own play where he was a couple of characters and gave birth to Medea. And you see what he has come to develop and to have. He has one of the largest studios in Atlanta, and it's literally employing thousands of individuals, and he's pouring value back into them because he is seeing and knowing what his greatness is, and he's tapped into it. So I say all that is to ask you, how do you begin to tap into your greatness? How do you begin to see and know what your greatness is? Well, we're going to break down the steps. So at this point, I need you to start really focusing and taking your notes, because I'm going to give you step by step some of the things that you need to look at. And some of and none of, and literally it may not be in order of where you need it right now, but you take it down and then you place it in the priority that you need, so it can help you to start tapping in to your greatness. So, first and foremost, you want to create a vision. Think about what you want to create in your life, how you want to live. Now, a lot of people, they go out and they just start doing things, but they have no plan. And when you don't have a plan, you're kind of all over the place. And many of you might be familiar with vision boards. And I encourage you, if you don't know how to do a vision board, make sure you tap in to my company, La Paz Image Consultants, because we teach what vision boards are, what they do, and what they stand for, and how they can help you on your walk to greatness. And you cannot achieve anything without a very clear vision. And what do you all place on your vision boards if you do a vision board? So I'm going to share something with you. I'm a huge believer in creating vision boards, creating things that really kind of put things in front of you and place things in front of you. So I'm going to tell you, don't place superficial goals onto your vision boards or creating your vision. So personally, I'm going to tell you a story. If my husband was available right now, he would tell you this is the truth. So several years, like about maybe he would tell you 2 years prior to us having our daughter, I had put a picture on my vision board of a baby that I was hoping that we could have a baby. And I put this on my vision board. And needless to say, I placed it on there and I believed that, I knew that I wanted to be a parent, but, wasn't sure how or if it would even come true. But I knew that's what I had wanted. And in talking to my husband, we had talked about this and all. And so I placed it on my vision board 2 years before. And 2 years later, we have our beautiful daughter. And she is just incredible. She's everything that we could dream of. She's everything that, that makes you just smile. I love being a mom. But literally, I created my vision of what I wanted in my life. And so creating a vision is important for you to take these steps to walking in your greatness. So that's the first thing. Creating a vision gives you clarity to achieve things. So that's the first one. The second one is turn adversity into I'm so sorry. I was muted. I didn't realize that. I apologize to you all. We got a message that we had a little problem there, but I hope you all are hearing me now. So if you are, give me some thumbs up. Let me know in the comments that you can hear me again. That for some reason it's storming here. So just to let you know, we have some bad weather right now. So what I was saying was this. Turn adversity into advantage. And I don't know if you remember our discussion from last week that we had regarding embracing stress. And if you didn't get to listen to that episode, make sure you go back and catch it because I really gave some dynamic keys in there. But this all falls right in line with what I was saying. And adversity serves as a choice point for us all. Did you hear me? A choice point for us all. And we can choose to play into a victim mindset and give our power away, or we can use those challenges as opportunities to learn, to grow, and become stronger. So that's what that does. That's that dynamic of making those choices, of taking advantage of a situation, moving your mind forward. Notice everything is on a trajectory of forward. It's not falling backwards. It's not taking you under. You're not going to play the victim mindset. We're going to have a growth mindset. And I keep telling you all, 2021 is a growth mindset year. And I'm going to be teaching on that coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you're not on our email list and our newsletter, please make sure that you are, because that we're going to be inviting you to join there. And our whisperers get special priority. I'm just going to be honest. It's the truth. You all get priority. So it's a way that we place these obstacles in our mind that will either keep us tripping over them, or they will help to become your stepping stones. So first, we're creating a vision. Second, we're turning our adversity into advantage. Okay. So now third, we cultivate a champion's mindset. Now let me tell you, this part is dynamic. It makes me excited. This particular point I'm going to take a second on because I need you to really understand this mindset and how it will serve you. See, I don't know if any of you are close to any successful athletes, or maybe you all were athletes before you got into your business or had families or whatever. But the 100% belief in themselves, and they know if they train their bodies and their minds, they are able to accomplish anything. And I'm going to tell you, I know some great athletes. And I mean, if you know how they condition themselves and their mind and their bodies, they really train them. I look at like Simone Biles. Simone Biles is dynamic. I mean, like she really is dynamic. And her training and her focus is always like on point. Another person is Serena Williams. Serena Williams is tapped into her greatness. She is a magnificent tennis player. She is dynamic at what she does, and she is forthright for what she does in her sport and what she does for her body. But it's the same thing that we have to do for ourselves to be able to walk in our greatness. So that means this. It may sound like what's a good word? A tall tale, or or a tall order. I would say probably a tall order, because sometimes we have such difficulties. People are like, well, yeah, they could be great because they don't have to cook dinner and they don't have their kids to run after, and they don't. But you know what? You can use any excuse to not tap in and cultivate a champion mindset. You can tap into that and you can use any excuse that you want. Well, I don't have time because I have a job, or I'm running a business. Well, let me tell you something. If you're running a business, you by far need a champion mindset. Because if you don't have a champion mindset when you're running your business, you are going to burn out and you are going to eventually not be successful. Because, see, it's something that you have to keep building on. It is something that you have to nurture. So that means that you really have to invest in your mind, your body, your heart to have that success in anything that you're doing. So we create a vision, we turn adversity into advantage, and we cultivate a champion mindset. Strong. That's what a champion's mindset is. It's strong and it's deliberate. Powerful words there, aren't they? Powerful. How are you guys feeling right now? Are you just totally like pumped? I know, because I am so pumped right now that I love this discussion, because even for myself it helps me to recenter and pivot and change and push that mindset even a little bit further, that I can walk in my greatness, that I can achieve the things that I'm trying to achieve, things that I want to put forward for my family. It is motivating me to do better and to be better every single day. And so, with that being said, we're going to move into step number 4, which is develop hustle. Isn't that something? Develop hustle. Listen, this mindset is important, because when you develop hustle, that means you are willing to do what the average person is not. Do you hear me? You're willing to accomplish and do what the average person is not willing to do. I've told so many of my clients that I I think if I could get like $5 for every one that I told, I would probably be a millionaire a couple of times over. Over, okay? Not that just a millionaire, but I would be over. Um, that you will work harder, you will work longer, make sacrifice, and have crazy determination when you are really develop your hustle and really kind of buying into that. If you think about your most successful people, like, let me think, like a Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Bill Gates, they all, and I can't stress it, they all, and if you think of a Sonia LeRae, because this is the truth, we all have developed, and they all did what the average person wasn't willing to do, and they all worked harder and longer than the average person. And that's what I do. And that's what you have to do to be able to walk in your greatness. You have to be able to really invest into yourself. And now, I talk about investments all the time. And I tell you, either you can place value into yourself, which is a great investment that you're getting stock and you're placing value into it, or you can become a junk bond that has no value to it. It has nothing. It has no payout at the end, and it has nothing, no dividends, nothing. And which one will you choose? And which one will you really tap into the most? So now, this next fact may come as a surprise to you all, because I know, like, when I do this discussion, this is the one that really takes a lot of the audience and everyone back. You must be conscious of your body. Yes, your walk to greatness. You must be conscious of your body. Meaning, when you start to move in greatness, you must be fully conscious of your health of your body. Feeding, hydrating, resting when you need to refuel so you can be in it for the long run. Not short term, but the long run. So, food, water, nourishment, rest, these are things that you need for your success and your long run and the journey that you will take. And when you don't feed your body correctly, It is a known fact that your mind cannot function correctly and at the level that it needs to. And if you're dehydrated, oxygenated blood doesn't flow properly, and water is necessary for that healthy function. And I know that it sounds so far fetched, but it's true. Because I can tell you, I have the most hectic days. And if I'm perfectly hydrated and I'm eating healthy and I'm doing the things that I need to nourish my body, I'm able to keep pushing and moving forward and developing and keep things moving. I can be on the stage 4 hours, leave there, have another discussion, and I'm still able to do it because I'm nourishing myself and I'm taking care of myself. Now that you starting to get the idea of how you are to begin walking in your greatness, there is one major factor I also need you all to do. And this is a major factor. I need you all to stop using shame as a motivator for self-growth. Did you hear what I just said? I need you to stop using shame as a motivator for self growth, because shame is not an effective motivator for personal growth. If you are trying to shame yourself into changing, guess what? It will not work. It will not work. And if your shame is like a poison to your success, to your walk to greatness, and only can bring negativity into your mind and your heart. And that's what shame is. Shame is a poison that is getting just infiltrating you and poisoning your mind. And it sets you back on every level that you're trying to put in. So, Whispers, you are at a point in your lives that you're ready to start to reach your goals. You're ready to shift your mindset from a place of lack to a place of abundance. And maybe it's about time for you to start working with a counselor to give you some much needed motivation. And I would love to work with you all so we can set realistic goals to get you on the right pathway that you know you need to be on so you can invest and walk in your greatness and identify what that greatness is. And if you want to work with me, please, please, please simply go to the description box, click the link in the description box, and we will get a session going quickly. You can email the offices at information at info@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. Once again, that's info@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. And let's put some of these actions and these things into play, because now more than ever, it is time for us to start. And if you haven't started, to really rev things up and start to walk in your greatness. So, I have a challenge for you all. I want you to make a commitment agreement with yourself. Do you hear me? I want you to make a commitment agreement with yourself and be very specific what you need for you to start walking in your greatness. And I need you then to hold yourself accountable, that you're tapping in every week to see if you are achieving the goals that you have placed down there. So I want you to make a commitment agreement with yourselves today. And Whispers, I could go on and on with this topic because there's even more to this discussion, because there's so much more that I need to pour into you and for you all to understand and to feel that energy and what walking in your greatness is. So I'm going to ask you all to make sure that you join our email list and that you get onto the newsletter, because for the simple fact of it all, you are not going to want to miss this dynamic workshop that we're developing and having, because walking in your greatness is something that everyone needs to do. And everyone needs to be conscious of it. And let me tell you something, walking in your greatness does not mean that you are better than someone else. So let me just clear that up first and foremost. That is not what it means. It means that you are walking with a purpose. It means that you are walking in a greatness that fulfills you, pours into your family, pours into those that you care about, and into your community. It is a dynamic situation to be in. And if you can identify it and you know what it is, oh my goodness, it is beyond powerful. It is beyond powerful. So I hope you all have truly enjoyed this discussion, because I know I have. And if you would like to work with me, like I said, please feel free to click the link in the description box. Email me at information@whispersinabottlepodcast.com. And don't forget, I want you to come get social with me. Come over to Instagram over there and look for Whispers in a Bottle _podcast. And trust me, I will love to get to know you. And listen, our content over there is fabulous. You think the show is fabulous? Honey, come on over to Instagram. So listen, thank you all so much for listening. I am so honored to be in here and to have these discussions and to pour such value into you all. It is truly my honor and my pleasure. So thank you so much for listening to Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays. I am your host, Sonia Lorray, certified lifestyle relationship counselor, educator, motivational speaker. And I want you guys to please, please, please have a safe weekend. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and always looking forward to next week. We got another great discussion coming next week. I almost forgot to tell you all what it was. Oh my goodness. Let me get it. Let me get it. Hold on. Let me get it. I got to bring it up. I'm so sorry. We are going to be discussing, have you accepted yourself? See, building on to the greatness. I'm building onto it. All right, guys, take care. Be safe. Talk to you soon.